shop. Welcome back to all the fun stuff we're going to do on the Miata. Oh, it just said something. It cut me off. So I'm trying something a little different tonight, and you guys will have to let me know if it works. Number one is new audio. So hopefully that the wireless mics are working a little bit better, maybe slightly. We are also trying it via the iPad versus the laptop. So if this starts to work better, then we're going to start using the iPad, which is a lot more portable. And so when we get into engine-based stuff, I can actually bring you guys over and physically take you in there a lot closer than I could with, with the laptop. By the way, this is brought to you by Rockstar. If you guys haven't seen these are the originals. They call it OG flavor. You can get these. Can't really get them in stores, but you can order them on your favorite ordering provider, whoever that is. Go through Amazon. They come in 4 packs and 12 packs, I think. But it's nice to change it up every now and then. This is what I originally started with. So, also, I think I can see the chat here too. So yeah, all right. Let's pull that up. Let's pull up live chat. There we go. Okay, so welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Sure. Yeah, so you guys will have to tell me if this looks a little bit better, if this works a little bit better. I don't have the rolly wheels on this one, so I can't roll you guys around. I have to pick you up and take you there. But if this system works better, I'll get a different stand for it and maybe get a different case for the iPad. Because it currently has the travel case on it, which is really protective. Although that's not a bad idea considering everything that happens here. So you guys will have to tell me if this works a little bit better for you. Also, the mount is a little, it's a little more secure, so I would have to figure out a different mount in order to quickly take you guys out and set you, somewhere. So I just want to make sure the technology's working, the microphone's working, the camera's working okay, and then we'll start adding on stuff. And this is just kind of a basic test. The Miata updates, we are still waiting on parts. Oh, we're getting messages here. Oh, hey, Liz. So far, looking good and sounding good. Okay, good. For the Miata, we are still waiting on parts. Like I said, Mazda just opened on Monday. They've been closed for the holidays, so getting those new parts in is going to take a few days. I've been trying to clean up stuff under there, and hopefully that's not detracting from you guys and you're not pissed off that I'm not showing you that. But cleaning up the leaky power steering fluid, all the corrosion that I didn't see before when I'm working on other stuff. And also I made the call after looking at all of this and cleaning up, the steering rack has to come out and at least drop down so that I can have access to those flare nuts on the back side. They're kind of on the top. The steering rack is a long cylinder, and I don't want to describe this too physically. It's a long cylinder like this long, and then you have your tire ends, and then so you have a flare nut on this end, you have a flare nut on this end, and then you have your input, which is technically your power steering fluid cooler, whatever. So what the power steering does is it pushes, and this is, it's a push-push system. So it pushes to one side and it pushes to the other. And there's 2 cylinders in there and they can move accordingly, and that's how you get power steering. It's a hydraulic helmet. So the access to those, the engine is in the way, the suspension is in the way on the right side one. And then on the left side one, you have the engine, the AC unit, the frame. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Steering rack, everything, the actual steering rack, the column that comes down to is actually in the way. So the best way to do that, it is bolted to the frame, there's 4 14mm bolts and little caps. Take those off. You can pull that power steering assembly off, access all of those flare nuts, get them all cleaned up, put it back on there, and then bolt it back up. So that's what I'll be doing on the next one. I'll probably be doing that tomorrow, just to make sure I can get all those bolts out. I don't want anything to break, and to make sure I can get those flare nuts out. And they've been in there since 1994. No one's touched the steering rack in 30 years, almost 30 years. Yeah. Well, it's 96 when it was built, so almost 30 years. So we want to make sure that we're not going to, destroy anything we don't need to destroy, or, just get better access to things, because right now, turning the flare wrench, I don't get enough, like the wrench flexes before it actually starts to grab and turn anything. So I don't have enough room to maneuver in there. The easier way is going to be to take that steering rack off. Now, when these are assembled, all of those lines are done before the steering rack is put on the frame. So, or actually subframe, whatever you want to call it. It's done beforehand. So they just set it up there and then they attach the hoses, and that's pretty easy. When you're trying to do it this way, the best way to do it is to just take it off, do what you need to do, put it back up, and then reattach the steering column. It's actually, there's two bolts, one on each end of, there's a universal joint there, and there's a bolt on either side, but you can take the one off just from the top. That's much easier to access. And I have that one out, corrosion clean. But pro tip, when you take that bolt out, or even before you take that bolt out, take a paint pen and mark not only the U-joint input, but the steering column shaft as well. Just do a paint marker right there. That'll get your steering wheel back where, the steering wheel is straight and it's not cockeyed. There's, I want to say there's 20 splines on there, or 22 splines. So you just want to make sure that they match up when you slide that guy back together. The good news is the deep creep has worked really well. So we've had it going for, 3 or 4 days now. The deep creep has worked great, and the bolts have kind of come out without any sort of major issue. The hardest part is just getting access to those flare fittings. And they're, like I said, they're done before the steering rack is put in there. So we'll get that taken care of. We'll take the steering rack out. What I'm hoping to do, since this is such a small car and everything is so tightly, that's how JDM stuff is. Even with the motorcycles, they pack everything so compactly in there that you either need incredibly small tools or very special tools, or you need to remove components to get to another component. They're very good at packaging things. So you have, American Muscle, they're just like, no, just put the alternator on, whatever. And it's this huge thing that's off the side of the engine. It's not, tucked into an engine bay and, clean around all the sides. They just have this big thing sticking out. So a little different philosophy there. But with doing super tight stuff on the Miata, and also with upcoming projects and the other stuff we'll be doing, trying out using the iPad gets us a little bit closer, and it's a little easier for me to move it around and get you guys into, where you have a better vantage point, seeing what I'm doing. So I wanted to test this out tonight and just make sure that this all works correctly. Oh, why does it says, see all comments. It says all messages are visible, but then it doesn't say, oh, there we go. Okay, now it's working. Still sounds more fun than a Subaru? Yes. Oh, okay. It says that it'll keep the chat up, but then a message comes up and then it disappears almost immediately. So that's one of those things I want to check. I want to be able to read what you guys are saying to me. But yes, Liz, you're correct. It's more fun than a Subaru. Sandpapering the asshole of an alligator in a phone booth is more fun than working on a Subaru. I promise. My son had an EJ, he had a Forester XT with the EJ25. Dreadful. Just not good. Everyone, I get it. I totally get the Subi thing, but not for me, man. Not for me. Not into working on my car every single day. So yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. I've also had too many friends like, one more PSI, that's all we need, just a little bit more boost, boom. And they have a $4,000 block completely gone. So no, not my thing, not my thing at all. So you guys are saying this is working okay. I'll look for your comments, And if you guys have any suggestions, I'd love to hear those. But this is also what I'm doing here is one of those things. My watch is telling me to take a moment, reflect. Uh, this is one of those things that when I'm looking around YouTube and I'm looking around the internet, I'm not finding people doing these steering rack, these hoses in particular. I see the other hoses for the earlier models, but I don't see the 96 and 97. So I'm doing this to put this out there for the several thousand people that have 96, 97s, and for the folks that work on them, that they're like, how come my hose is different? How come I have a hard line and a soft line? So this will be for them. And I haven't seen a lot of steering rack replacement stuff. So I'll try and get as much detail as I can. You know, just being on jack stands is a little difficult, but I'll try and get you guys in there so you can see what the hell I'm doing. If you do need close-ups of stuff, you know, definitely let me know, and I can come back here and put it up on ramps or whatever and get you the close-ups that you need. But it's pretty basic. The car in itself is extremely basic. So we'll get as much detail as we can without getting too boring. I don't want it to be boring for you guys. So thanks everyone for helping me out. Like I said, suggestions are totally welcome. If you have ideas on iPad mounts, that would be cool. Something, you know, portable or magnetic or whatever. I'm totally open to ideas. I got to look around for that stuff because now that we know this works, start doing more stuff with the iPad in the shop versus the laptop. And it's also a lot more portable. So when I go somewhere, I can take the laptop or I can take the iPad easier than I can take the laptop. So we'll keep going, and yeah, we'll get back to the Miata tomorrow. Hopefully, I have news on where the parts are. That would be really nice, really, really nice. But what we'll do is we'll take the steering rack out, and we'll get those smaller lines, the flare fittings and the smaller lines off the car, cleaned up, and put back in the car until our other parts are up. So thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry we're not turning wrenches and you know getting our hands dirty, but I promise we'll be doing that again soon. It sucks waiting on parts. I hate it too, just like you guys do. If I could find it tonight, I would. I would drive there and go get it. But it's one of those things you kind of got to play the game and wait. So we'll do that. You know, the Miata will be perfect. Plus, it's cold as hell outside. It's 47 degrees here in Florida, so it's not exactly Miata weather. But we want this car ready to go, and we want it bulletproof for springtime and summertime down here. It'll be an absolutely perfect car. Plus, we'll probably be doing a bunch of track stuff with this car. As the other race cars are in Ohio, we'll have the Miata down here that we can take to Sebring and Homestead and Daytona and stuff like that, and go do fun stuff over there. So rather being on this, that'd be a lot of fun. So cool. Thanks everyone. I appreciate your input, and I will catch everyone tomorrow night. Don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it is far more important for you. All right. Thanks everyone. I will catch you. I'll catch you tomorrow. Maybe an afternoon session.